Hey everybody, guys, welcome back to the annual pre-show live for Stargirl Season 3. This is my Episode 2 pre-show live. I know you guys aren't in here yet, but you guys will eventually see this video. Or hell, maybe you'll come across it on YouTube when you guys look up Stargirl Season 3. But we have a lot to talk about, especially, since we are getting episode 2 of season 3 tonight. I'm super excited. I loved the first episode of season 3 of Stargirl last week. We definitely have a lot to talk about because, there's a lot that went down in the first episode to set up the tone of this season, especially that ending with the gamblers, RV getting torn to shreds and Cindy ends up being there, and it kind of like Rick and Yolanda kind of are looking at her like, oh, you just, you just want, oh, you're the villain, oh, it's so in your nature to go and just go kill somebody, especially before when, Rick and Yolanda were already pointing fingers at the fact of the gamblers' crew trying to, mug somebody, and it, live? Yeah.
They're not popping up.
Okay, well, I'm live. And the gamblers' crew pretty much, trying to mug somebody, and, we had Artemis kind of save the day, and they're like, oh, that, and, of course we had, Beth looking up, okay, this is the gamblers' crew, and then right away, Rick and Yolanda are already pretty much pointing to the fact, okay, gamblers back in Blue Valley, this isn't a coincidence that his crew is doing something. He must be behind all this. Let's just go take him out. Cindy heard that, but, Courtney's like, I don't know. That's not what Gambler came back to Blue Valley for. He went and helped finding his daughter. And, it kind of already, Rick and Yolanda have this notion of, oh, if they're villains, they're villains. They're bad. And there's not a coincidence that Gambler's crew is starting to do stuff the moment Gambler comes back to Blue Valley. So I'm just interested in the fact of already that they're they're just looking at these villains one dimension, while Courtney sees that there's good within these villains, that they're not just villains, that they can be good. So I'm really excited to see going forward in this episode on the fact of that Cindy ended up being there, and Cindy's like, okay, let me know when shit actually goes down and the fighting starts. She wasn't interested in them doing the recon, them doing the research and trying to figure out why Gambler's crew was doing what they were doing. She's just like, okay, this is boring. Let me know when the fighting starts. And already when they weren't surprised and shocked to see Cindy there hovering over where the Gambler was at and this massive destruction. And as far as we know, I don't know if there's any of the Gambler's bodies there. I think it was. But already they knew that's where Gambler was. And the fact that if he's not there, which we don't, I can't remember if his body was there or not, they kind of have this notion of, oh, this is typical Cindy. She's a villain and she's the one that did this. I don't think Beth is going to, I don't know if Beth is going to take now Rick and Yolanda's side to be like, okay, we shouldn't have brought in Cindy. Maybe once a villain, always a villain. I don't know if she's going to do that. I do think that, again, it's just going to be Beth and Courtney defending Cindy, being like, okay, I know it's not what it looks like. I know she didn't do it. Let's actually try to figure things out. And I bet you Yolanda and Rick are going to be like, there is no, let's think about it or let's try to figure this out. No, she's a bad guy. As simple as that. Your little experiment didn't work. I feel like they're just going to be like, okay, she did it. Why don't you see that she did it? Because they just think that villains are villains, and there is no saving the villains. The villains can't be good. They can't go good. So I'm just excited to see that in this episode, along with the fact of Courtney making the deal while Sylvester saying, okay, maybe while I'm at school, you have the staff, and when I'm back from school, then I can have the staff. When I'm out of school, you can have it, but when I'm back from school, I can have it. And and Starman's back, pretty much, because we kind of specified through, Sylvester coming back that Sylvester told Courtney that he doesn't know who he is without Starman. He just doesn't know who he is. And I think Courtney felt bad. That's why she's like, okay, let's try to make this deal. You don't have to not be Starman anymore. You could still be Starman. You know what I mean? But she's just trying to help him out. I feel like, if you don't know who you are without Starman, who am I to say that, I'm just going to keep this staff all to myself. It wouldn't hurt to have, me learn stuff from you and you be like a co-leader or whatever. Or maybe she's afraid that, if she didn't say, Like, you know, when he's like, I don't know who I am without Starman. I think she might have been afraid, like, oh, he's going to take the staff then if I don't try to make a deal with him. So maybe she's did down out of spite of, like, oh, if I don't make a deal with him, he might just take the staff and leave Blue Valley. So at least this is a way where, like, when I'm at school, he can have it, and when I'm back from school, I can have it. Like, it could be a co-ownership. So I just really like that, on the fact of that, you know, he was kind of resistant, saying, Courtney, I don't know, like, you know, the staff is yours. I don't know if I should, this might complicate things. And she's like, no, like, let's just make a deal. Like, when I'm at school, you can have the staff, and when I'm back from school, I can have the staff. It's co-ownership. So I feel like that's not going to last forever, especially because even out of all the drama at the table of Rick and Yolanda not happy with the fact that Courtney is allowing Cindy and allowing pretty much Artemis be a part of the JSA, which I think Artemis will officially be part of the JSA probably in this next episode. That's when, you know, Yolanda and Rick will be like, oh, great, now Artemis is a part of the team or whatever. Or it might, if not, this episode will happen in the next episode, but it's just bound to happen. Artemis will be joining the JSA. So I do think that, you know, like that, you know, even at the table when they were so against Cindy being a part of the JSA, and Beth and Courtney were kind of defending the fact of, oh, she's changed, oh, she can be doing good or whatever. It's kind of, they were all, because even, you know, Yolanda and, you know, and Rick and Cindy were all fighting, but the question that they all had was, and the one thing that they all agree on, is that Sylvester's back. What does that mean? Who's going to keep the staff? Who's going to be the leader? And it's kind of like Courtney didn't want to have that talk. Courtney's been avoiding that conversation ever since she's been back from break, like back from vacation. Like, she totally forgot that Sylvester was there. She thought Sylvester was probably going to be gone by the time they came back from vacation. She was kind of ignoring the fact that, okay, I don't want to think right now of, oh, when we do come back, what does it mean for the staff, even though he said I could have the staff before I left on vacation. And, you know what I mean, she was kind of hoping that no one would ask the question of, oh, does this mean that Sylvester is going to be the leader now because he's still in Blue Valley? Like, what? Because they were all agreeing on that. What does this mean for the Cosmo? Is he going to go back to Sylvester, and Sylvester is going to become Starman again and be the leader? Or are you going to be able to keep Cosmo and you're going to be the leader and Starman's going to retire? But as we know, that's not the case. He's still going to be Starman while she's at school, and, you know what I mean, they're going to share the staff. And I do think that's going to become a problem, and I do think that Sylvester isn't in his right mind. I feel like there's something wrong there. I feel like maybe he fully didn't come back and he's not the same Sylvester, or he is the same Sylvester, but he wants revenge for the Injustice Society killing his team, and isn't okay with the fact that, you know, Cosmo his staff chose somebody that is so, you know, that literally had, maybe Sylvester doesn't think that, oh, she really, like, even though the staff chose, maybe you're not really pure of heart because of the fact of the staff choosing you and you're giving these villains a second chance, even though these villains killed my old team. Maybe he's going to bring that up to Courtney or bring that up to Pat, saying, I don't think, even though this Cosmo chose you, I don't think you're worthy because you think that these villains are evil, they've killed people, and you think that they have a chance to become good. I don't know if if it's going to go down to that. I don't know if it's the fact of if he won't have that conversation, or even if he's even thinking that. But it's not the fact that I know he's really angry at Pat, saying you let the villains move in next door, and it's kind of like you betrayed your family. The JSA was your family. You betrayed me. That you're letting these villains that killed your family, that killed our family, live right next to you, and you're not doing anything about it. You know what they did. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I expect better from you. Courtney, not so much, because I just met Courtney. Yeah, she has Cosmo, but the JSA wasn't her family like it was our family. He might say that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm excited to see what the dynamic's going to be, especially when they were sitting on the steps before the gambler, you know, got taken out by whatever it is. It could be Mr. Bones. It could be my theory and my spoiler review is it could be Sylvester, because we know the moment where, like, we see Sylvester and Pat sitting on the steps. There's a moment where, like, you know, Sylvester's like, you know, oh, like, what, like, the villains live across that are your neighbors now? Or all these villains that are now your friends that want to be a part of the JSA now? And he's like, well, Courtney's never steered us wrong, so we're gonna trust her heart and what her heart's telling her. And he's like, I'm not, denying that, people can change or whatever, but, we'll see how it goes, to change or whatever, or to he said something and did a cheers with Pat. But I think that there's a chance that he came back to take out the rest of the Injustice Society because he wants revenge. I bet you he does. I bet you secretly he wants to take revenge on the Injustice Society. I feel like maybe could this be him taking everybody out one by one? And maybe that's the mystery until the end of the season, is that he's the one killing people and it isn't Mr. Bones, or maybe Mr. Bones brought him back to life or something. I don't know. These are just theories. I don't really know what Mr. Bones' powers are, but it's not too far-fetched to the fact of what if he brought Sylvester back, and what if so he's using Sylvester to take out everybody else or whatever. I don't know. We still don't know really if it's Mr. Bones doing the things, doing all these murders, or it could be Sylvester and they're saving that like holy shit moment for the end, close to the end finale of the season. I don't know. That's why I'm loving the show so much, and that's why it's so fun that Breck said it's a murder mystery this season, and that's why I'm liking that we can all theorize and we can all speculate on what could happen in these next couple of episodes. But I just want to come on here and talk to you guys about that because, it's just a fun thing to talk about, is that to do these every week at 7 p.m. Eastern time, talk about the last previous episode and talk about what might happen in this episode. We saw also for this week's episode last week, when we got the preview for this week's episode, we saw that, Shade and, Sylvester are having a little argument at the Shade's place, and or I don't even know if it was the Shade's place. It looked like it was where the magician lived. I forget what he was called, but maybe he was just called the magician. I'm not quite sure. It looked like where he lived before he got killed and his son got killed. So I don't know. All I know is that Sylvester hit him with the cosmic staff, and we all know the cosmic staff could kill Shade because it's pure light. So I don't know. It looked like he was trying to kill him. So I think there will be some. There really will be some tension there between him and Shade, because light and dark, maybe there's really some tension there. I'm not quite sure. But I'm really interested to see his initial reaction when he comes across, of course, the Crocs, and of course, Shade, and he didn't come across the Gambler. I don't think he will, because the Gambler is dead now. It was called Chapter 1, The Murder. And I'm not quite sure if we saw his body there, or or his body isn't there, but they know he's dead. I'm not quite sure. But I'm just excited to see Sylvester come across all the rest of the Injustice Society and see his reaction. I'm really excited for that. I'm also excited to see Courtney's, and also Cameron, if I'm correct, his name is Cameron, which is Icicle's son. I'm excited to see that relationship, how that's going to go. I'm not really a fan of that relationship, but it is what it is. I'm excited to see how that's going to go this season. Now that Breck said that they really. Cameron and Courtney's relationship really start to build up in this season. So I'm excited to see how that's all going to go, especially in the fact of when Cameron finds out that, the JSA killed his father, how that's going to go. I think he will be a villain, not this season, but I could see him becoming a villain into next season. Like, they build him up and he's the villain in the next season. I'm not quite sure how it will go. But I'm just excited to see what's going to be going on. For all we know, Cameron could build up a new Injustice Society while all the old villains become JSA members. Who knows? I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. We are a couple minutes out right now. It's 7:14 on the East Coast right now. So I'm excited that, for this episode. And, of course, my spoiler review for Season 3, Episode 2 will be up probably later tonight, if not early tomorrow morning. So, stay tuned for that. Again, let me know your thoughts and your predictions for this episode, and also your predictions and theories for going forward in the season. If you have, theories for, episodes that haven't even come out yet, but if you have your own theories, let me know what they are. I'm really curious to know what they are. But yeah, guys, again, that was the live stream. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.